Hi Virgo, here's a general look at your solar chart for November 2011. Now this month you could be very busy, running around, making connections, gathering, sharing information, being, more comings and goings, perhaps more paperwork, could be things you've got to get your head round, instructions and that sort of thing, but very much being in the flow of information exchange, and it's very sociable. And until the 27th, there's a very warm energy flooding into the foundations of your solar chart. This can manifest in various ways, but it's pretty good. It may mean that you're just appreciating what you have, on the home base and who you have it with. Or maybe you're just appreciating the home, the conditions around you in your environment, even if you're not at home. Or you are just appreciating your surroundings, whether you're at home or not, and wanting to beautify them. So maybe you're wanting to do things to embellish, decorate, whatever your surroundings, but also it could be about a good vibe between you and family members, or those within your community or extended neighborhood, or extended community, extended family, and really wanting this feeling of maybe old feuds being laid to rest. This would be a good time to be doing that, and harmonious relationships, right at the very root of your life, with people in that sort of bubble of family or extended family or neighborhood that you're part of. And that equally goes for over the wires as well. So you're likely to feel an increased sense of settlement anyway, and contentment within yourself emotionally during this phase, feeling supported, very much feeling supported. Both Mercury, that's your ruling planet, and Venus are at the root of your solar chart. Mercury is going to be there for an unusually long time, all the way through until next January 2012. Thoughts and ideas could center very much around family and the home and property, and toing and froing in the community, as well as likely to be more toing and froing within the community. Very much centered around the base of operations, or not far away, and also from the base of operations, very, very strongly indicated. Now it could be one or a few of these sorts of suggestions that I've made. It doesn't have to be them all. And it could be that property and domestic setup is sort of a social meeting place in a way. It could be quite a sociable sort of an environment there, with toings and people coming in, or maybe you being the guest at somebody else's place more, and also your inner thoughts, your deeper thoughts and feelings and intuitions, very much so, could bubble far more easily and quickly up to the surface, and could have you pondering and remembering as well. Maybe going back into the past for some reason. Now, this has been a time when others will have been leaning on you. You've had quite a lot of that since late September through October, and that will be happening until the 11th of November. You should have been more protective of your energy, Virgo, and let others take the strain whenever possible. That would have been a really good idea. Energy levels could have been a little bit lower than usual, and you should not have been expecting yourself to be all singing and all dancing. Now this changes quite markedly when Mars enters your sign on the 11th of November, there to stay for several months, in fact until July 2012. You're going to be busy. You're going to feel more decisive, more like initiating. You're going to feel more motivating, feel more motivated, but motivating others as well, you know, a bit like the coach or the sergeant major, because you are service orientated. So maybe this Mars is feisty, come on, you can do better than that. Mars into your sign will have you being far more assertive with people who are under your care. I don't know. But anyway, just might have to soften that down a little bit, you know, because you're suddenly going to take off like a rocket, depending on where your sun is in Virgo, but the tendency will be like that. And anyway, from that date forwards, which is a very, very, very long transit of Mars, which is usually only a 6-week transit, so this is very unusual, and it's going to be in your sign. So from that date forwards, you'll begin feeling more outgoing, decisive, busier. There'll be more demand on you as well, and you'll feel far more in the mood to stand up for what you believe and not be backwards in coming forward with letting everybody know about it. So you're more likely to be in the mood to take physical action. So if you're working for a good cause, then, you know, I want you on my team. You want to get involved more perhaps with actively chasing your targets, and becoming interested perhaps more in diet, exercise, you know, anything you can do for your body to transform it into the lean, mean machine that's just waiting to come out, you know, from the inside. You may feel a lot more enterprising too. Great time to be initiating a venture, a project, or a regime, or a program, and you want to have a firmer say. You feel more confident. You want to make your mark in some way. Be careful, though, not to leap before you look properly. By which I mean, don't miss the important details. Well, I know you are the detail person of the zodiac, but you know, you are not, dare I say this, you are not perfect. In fact, if you were perfect, you'd levitate and you'd just completely disappear. You'd disappear from this dimension at all, because nothing and no one is perfect here. It's a work in progress. We're getting there slowly. So yes, just don't do much. Don't go too far too fast. You know, with this amazing whoosh of this Mars energy coming in. As I say, it depends on where your sun is in the sign, but and there could be more demands around you, because the environment's going to get busier, bustlier, and you've got to be more proactive. Others around you are likely to be more proactive or dynamic, or feeling even quite contentious, and you know, coming at you with aggression. Even that can be another way that the Mars energy, which will be very prominent in your sign, can work, because you are just in the energy, you know, whether it's coming through you or it's coming from the outside. Now, your ruling planet Mercury goes retrograde on the 24th, meaning that you're going to get about 3 weeks of a sort of a slowdown or repetition of the same humdrum routine, or thinking of thinking, or coming and going. But that'll give you the chance to mull things over, to see what needs to be improved, you know, what needs to be tweaked and fine-tuned. You're good at that. And however, you might be looking inwards as well, and realizing that you react to the same old triggers in the same old way and fall down the same old hole in the road. And you might be questioning about, where is the root of that, you know. Is it, you know, to do with me and something I can change, or is it just in my body, in my DNA, and can that be changed, or just kind of move beyond it, really? So some of you may become interested in genealogy, or past lives, or a legacy, or an inheritance, and harking back to the past during the time that Mercury is there. But really, it's going to be about home truths, emotional patterning, and what you need to keep from it, because it's not all bad. What you need to ditch, and of course self-forgiveness, that's the big one. And that's going to put you in a better place by the end of the transit of Mercury there in January. From the 23rd, the focus is going to be on home, family members even more, and community in which you are anchored in the long or the short term. The new moon and partial lunar eclipse on November the 25th hints at new beginnings related to the domestic setup, property, your place on the map, routines at home, what's going on in the home, or with family members or neighbours, and also you and where you're anchored within, where you're at. And so fresh starts here, new beginnings. Now every month I speak about the slower moving outer planets, Jupiter through Pluto. You can go to my website and read this stuff there, but I'll just go over them again here. Jupiter's new position, well, it's not so new now, it's in Taurus and will be there until June. So that's expanding your world, and that's its job in that part of your solar chart. It's very good news for you. It's very beneficial angle to your Sun in Virgo, and you could be growing you'd be on a terrific learning curve. Learning through doing is a Jupiter thing, a key theme of Jupiter. So learning through experiencing, but also learning through study and academically as well, and travel, and rubbing shoulders with the sort of people you wouldn't get to meet and mix with normally, or the sort of dimensions or beings or energies you wouldn't meet and merge and mix with usually as well, because there's lots of ways this learning can come to you, and you could be communicating, if this is your thing and you want it, then you could be communicating across a much wider stage during Jupiter, the planet of abundance, transit through this area, this very expansive area of your solar chart, and as I say, on a terrific learning curve, but also you as the mouthpiece, you as the spreader and the promoter of the word, whatever that word is about, and also plunging yourself into environments which are strange and not what you're used to, or being plunged into them, because that's altogether likely, but also starting off something like a venture or an enterprise, an activity, and that could be the beginning of something big, who knows. So higher learning, spiritual learning, teaching, spirituality, and this connecting with unfamiliar environments, perhaps long distance or different cultures. All of this is going to be positively highlighted, but also communications as well, but higher. It tends to be higher communications, or higher learning, academia, and so on. Saturn is in this very material, physical area of your chart, meaning that you should be taking stock of finances and trying to get that all sorted, physical space, property, equipment in the home, what's in the home itself, but also health, lines of supply, nourishment, what's going through your body, or for people, those that not people necessarily, but those that you're looking after. And giving you the chance here through plugging away and being, steely-eyed, persevering, making the improvements that you want and that you can envisage in that area there to do with health and well-being for yourself or for others. And you'll have to be patient and very self-disciplined as you work steadily and consistently to bring about a better situation on basic physical levels. So that might be about literally getting out and digging a garden, literally, capitalizing and making use of whatever resources and assets you have, which don't necessarily have to be to do with money at all. As I've said before, as I keep saying, we're coming into a time when we're going to have to be more self-reliant, more self-sufficient, and short-circuiting, you know, the major lines of supply and even money itself, and doing far more of an exchange and kind of a bartering kind of a thing in our communities, and basics, you know, with capital letters, right back to basics. And this is coming, you know, through, perhaps by the time 2012 is finished, the writing will be on the wall and people will get it, and then on into 2013 and beyond. So it's time for starting again in lots of ways. Another thing about this long transit of Saturn is, of course, you being persevering and self-disciplined about developing yourself, you as an asset, what you were born with. Everybody has a talent, at least one. So here is, you know, this chance to turn whatever it is about you that you really like, you know, you really like to do that thing, or you thought I never could. But there must be some way that you can use it, and you know, work it up into a skill which generates some kind of an income or a comeback of a resource to you, and apply it, you know, in a way which is possibly lucrative, but definitely appreciated and effective in practical ways. Now, Uranus, this awakener planet energy, has been shifting the balance in close relationships, meaning that a new dynamic will be being born in your close relationships. Uranus is now in an area where more detachment regarding sort of the emotional side of things in relationship is called for. Also over the material things that you share jointly with somebody as well. There might be a sudden letting go or sudden change which kind of moves the goalposts with all of that dynamic between you, even though when you're in it you don't quite realise what's going on. It's usually, you know, in hindsight that you saw what happened. And you're changing your values, you know, your value you put on yourself, your value you put on the other, and you know, it's kind of going like this because it is like it's all changing. And as I say, somehow woven into this will be finances, property, and what you the value that you put on everything that you have between you, and that's the way it can work. But there are other ways it can work as well. Virgo's born 24th, 25th of August, or around about 2 degrees of up to 2 degrees of Virgo rising should feel this kind of nervy, sometimes nervy action of Uranus this month. Neptune has reversed into Aquarius until February 2012. That means more empathy is demanded from you in, you know, your interaction one-to-one with others, the services you provide, and you know, coming from the heart more there. And that will be affecting mostly Virgos born around about the 23rd of August, or with about 1 degree of Virgo rising, or born the 21st, 22nd of, and with the last 2 degrees of Virgo rising, 22nd of September. All the last 2 degrees this month. And for many of you, Pluto, which is in a stunningly good aspect to your sun sign, is quietly doing its job, you know, on a subterranean level, underpinning positively all the efforts and changes necessary to evolve you into a more personally creative, spontaneous, expression of yourself, which is more self-empowering. You're more comfortable with it. You can shine your light, and you feel that warmth and appreciation coming back to you. and you know that you can do it and be true to yourself and still get the appreciation. So that's pretty cool. And you Virgos born 27th of August to the 1st of September, all with around about 3 to 8 degrees of Virgo rising, should feel that most strongly this month. So that's it for November. If you know your rising sign, and also try your moon sign. You may like to listen to those too. You need to know the time of birth for your moon sign, and it'll add to or subtract from what I said here. It's up to you to judge, really. And I'll see you the next time.